think I'm live. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if anyone joins us on this episode of Chatting with Katie. Let me just hang out by myself on here. All right. A few people are joining us. Great. Hi, guys. Y'all say hello so I know that we've got a few people on. So today we're going to be talking about how to not only survive but to thrive at your child's next IEP meeting. Here at North Shore Families, Open Families, we serve individuals with disabilities and their families, and many times we are contacted by parents asking if we can attend IEP meetings with them, and sometimes we do, but we really hope to empower parents to go to these IEP meetings, to be educated on the issues and their rights, and to really know what the IEP process is about. So thank you for joining us, and we'll get started. Alrighty, so 10 tips to thrive at your next IEP meeting. You will have access to a template that we're going to post. I believe it's posted right now in the comment section. If you click that link, you will get the template that I'm referring to, and you can save to your computer, print it out, use every time you have an IEP meeting. It'll really benefit you. So the paper that I'm first looking at is, I reversed it so you can read it. This is a template that you'll use, that I've used in the past, and your child's information will go up here, and then right here in this first box, this is step 1. So the first thing you need to do is pull out that expiring IEP. If your child had an IEP last year or the year before, you want to pull out the most recent one, to look at it and to make a list of your concerns, what went well during that year, what didn't, and then look at their goals. Many times this is often overlooked, and parents, they don't think about to look at it because that's, the school's job. But you want to know as a parent, did my child achieve those goals? Sometimes they might only have one goal in reading or in spelling. They might have a physical therapy goal, a speech goal. You want to look at all of those goals, and if you save those progress reports that get sent home, which you should, and put them in your IEP binder, you will see through those progress reports, they're letting you know as the parent if your child is reaching their goal, or if they've reached it and mastered it and they can move on. So in this first box, that's what will go there. Looking at your old IEP, what expiring IEP, what concerns you, what went well. You want to let the school know all of your thoughts regarding this. And then the second part refers to the areas of concern pertaining to the new IEP. So this new IEP, so let's say your child is going into 6th grade. The IEP is in the middle of the year, but you know that it's going to carry over to 6th grade, which might be a different school. You need to think about the whole year because an IEP is a full year. So we have a question. I may have missed this, but is this adaptable for an IAP? It can certainly be adaptable to an IAP. An IAP is and I didn't tell y'all the acronym. IEP stands for an Individualized Education Plan. IAP is Individualized Academic Plan, which is for our students with 504 plans. But Denise, yes, you can adapt it, and if you want to message me, I can talk with you more about it, okay? So this is concerns that you have for the upcoming IEP year that you want to discuss specifically at this IEP that's coming up. This next box is for questions. We're going to talk more about this in a minute. So you're going to list all your questions, whatever questions. There are no such thing as dumb questions because we as parents, we're not trained to be special ed teachers or therapists. You ask those questions. The school wants to be able to let you know what's going on. And then the bottom one, things I need clarification on. Right now in Louisiana, there's a lot of changes going on with diplomas and graduation and testing. And so if you hear something that you need clarification on from the school, write that down. You need to be filling this form out well before the IEP meeting, because you're going to think of stuff as you go, and you don't want to wait till the last minute. All right, so back to the tips. Review your IEP, the expiring IEP, what concerns you, what went well, what didn't. Write those down. Start this list. Number 2, if you feel uncomfortable going by yourself, most of the time, when I was a special ed teacher, my parents felt comfortable attending. They felt like part of the IEP team, because you are as the parent. But sometimes if there's a sticky situation going on, or things might get a little hairy, bring a spouse, bring a trusted friend, bring a trusted family member. That person will be there to support you, to be an extra set of eyes and ears, and maybe even give input. So reach out to that person and invite them. Don't invite them if you think they would not be a good fit for this IEP meeting. So be wise in choosing who you want to attend with you. Number 3, prepare an email. We suggest emails more than letters. If you do a letter, make a copy of it and keep a copy for yourself. But send an email to the school listing 3 things. Number 1, listing what your concerns are for this upcoming IEP year, so that they can know well ahead, and they could even possibly copy and paste it and put it into that IEP, that draft IEP. Number 2, let them know if you invited someone and somebody's attending with you. It's just courtesy to let them know beforehand. And then number 3, request a copy of the draft IEP. Many times this doesn't happen because teachers just don't think about it, or maybe they do, but you can request a copy of that draft IEP. So if you know you have an IEP meeting next week, email them now and say, hey, can I get a copy of that draft IEP? I want to look over it before the meeting. You can totally do that. And most of the time, teachers will oblige because they want you to come prepared as well. All right, so that was number 3. Number 4, know the laws and your rights. You know, hopefully you won't have to use them, but it's good to know that. That parent student rights handbook that they give you at every IEP meeting, read it. It's good information. And if you need more information about specific laws, or IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or FAPE, which is Free and Appropriate Public Education. If you want to know more about those, a good website to go to is rightslaw.com, and we will put a link to that website in the comments as well. Save that on your bookmarks too. It's a good website. Alrighty, so during your meeting, number 5, arrive early. I'm a big believer in arriving early. So leave your house well in advance. That way if something happens between your house and the school, you'll still be on time. So arrive early, and you want to bring your list of concerns and questions, because if you rely on something that you're like, oh, well, I'll remember it, you might, but you might not. So you're going to arrive with your list of concerns and questions. You're going to bring a pen and notepad for you, or if you have an IEP binder, bring that. Something to write on, because you want to take notes. Because we rely on our memory, but, you know, parents, we have a lot of stuff to store in there. So write notes. And then I like to do this, and I encourage my parents to do this as well, but bring a picture of your child, a recent picture of your child, and lay it down in the middle of the table when you first get there and you say hello to everyone. Put that picture down, and it's going to serve as a reminder that this meeting that we're holding, this individualized education plan that we are crafting and creating, is all for this person right here, and you point to it. And so, of course, everybody knows that, but in case there's some disagreements and this person believes one thing and this person believes another, you know, you need to look at what's best for the child, that person right there, and refer to that picture, okay? It, you know, it helps resonate with everybody. of why they're there. So you're going to arrive early. You're going to bring your list of concerns and questions. You're going to bring a pen and a notepad, and you're going to bring that picture because, you know, that's your child. That's your meeting because of this person. Alrighty. Number 6, be respectful, be professional, and be open-minded. There can be, if you have an IEP meeting with quite a few people, sometimes it's just a few, like 2 or 3 or 4, but sometimes, I know in my son's IEP meetings, you know, there can be upwards of 15 people because he's got a lot of people that love him and educate him. So be open-minded to everyone's views. Everybody has input to give, and they're there for your child. So listen to them. Even if you might disagree, let them speak because you would want them to listen to you. So be respectful, be professional, and you know, be open-minded to new suggestions and new ideas. All right, number 7, ask questions. Ask lots and lots of questions. So if you hear an acronym like IEP and you don't know what that means, ask them. I took the Partners in Policymaking class this past year. It's an advocacy leadership course for parents and for parents of children with developmental disabilities and adults with developmental disabilities. And they had these little cards that you would hold up, and it said, it had a stop sign with ABC on it, I believe. Liz, Gary can correct me if that's wrong. But anytime a presenter said an acronym that one of us didn't know, we would just hold it up. So that's maybe an idea because there are tons of acronyms in the disability world, and even I don't know all of them. So ask questions. Your parents, the teachers, the therapists, the administration, they want you to know this. And if you don't, you just need to ask, okay? Let's see. I see a question. If you have an IEP and you want to get a GED, what can you do? Rebecca, we will message you, okay? And because that'll be a longer conversation than this. Alrighty, so number 7 was ask questions. Ask lots of questions. If somebody tells you something that you don't know why they are deciding that, ask why. Seek clarification, because you want to leave that IEP meeting knowing you did everything you could to educate yourself on the decisions being made that affect your child's education. So ask as many questions as you need. Alrighty, number 8, write everything down. I heard a phrase recently that said, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. And that is true, oftentimes. So you have your notepad or your IEP binder or whatever you brought in there with your pen, you write down notes. You write down whatever you feel necessary. And then on the flip side, the teacher, the special education teacher, or whoever is writing on the IEP that y'all are talking about, they're going to have a blue pen, and if you decide something that is not written on there, they need to write it down. Because if it's not written down, it might not have happened. And maybe they forgot to put it on there. Or maybe there's other reasons. But if y'all made a decision in the IEP meeting, it needs to be written down on the IEP. Understand? Write everything down. Okay, number 9. So most 95% of the time, IEP meetings, go smooth and well, which is great. That's what we want. We're a team. We're all on this together, for the kid. But sometimes it doesn't. So if you as the parent or caregiver or whoever is speaking for this child, if you feel something is going south, if you feel like I'm uncomfortable with these decisions, I need more time to think, you say, hey guys, stop. I need a moment. I need to take a recess, because you can do that. Can we reconvene tomorrow? I need to go find out more information about this. And they might present you with the information there. And if you're fine with that, great. You can move along. But if you do not feel comfortable, or you want to reach out to us here at North Shore Family Southern Families, one of our education specialists, or if you want to talk to a friend about something that's being decided in the IEP meeting, you can certainly do that. you can have somebody call into the meeting as well. So do not feel pressured that because you're having this IEP meeting today, it has to be done today. You can stop it. And so let's say, for example, that you disagree and the rest of the IEP team says, no, this is how it needs to be done, but you still disagree. This is what we should suggest you do. If you cannot find an agreement and the rest of the team decides on something that you disagree with, you can sign your name, but write underneath your name that you do not agree with blah, blah, blah. List it out. Because if they just see your signature, it's like, she's good or he's good. But you want to let them know on this IEP, on the back page, that you disagree. Look, lots of space down there for notes. So you write, you disagree with whatever decision. Be specific with why you're in disagreement. And then you can call us, you can call a variety of different people, but we strongly encourage our parents to work with the school system because you're all on this team together for this child. And even if you disagree, maybe, they have a reason behind it and you just need to understand it, or maybe not. So try your best to work it out and sustain these relationships because your child will be in school for a long time and you need to work together. Alrighty, and then number 10, after the meeting, a lot of people don't do this, but a few people do. So after the meeting, within, I would say, 24 to 48 hours, it would be wise to send an email to that IEP team. Try to include everybody that was there. And in your words, give a recap of how it went. What was discussed? What were the big decisions made? What was something that you felt strongly about that maybe wasn't agreed upon, or vice versa? And that way it's written documentation. And ask the IEP team members if you forgot something for their input, because this IEP is going to be set in motion from that point on for the next year, and you want to make sure that it's appropriate. You've got the right accommodations and modifications. Your child is in the appropriate environment, meaning which classroom he's in. So give a recap and ask for their input. And if something is misconstrued, it will be addressed right here. So I don't want you to go on thinking that something is one way when it might not be. So that's why this follow-up email is a good idea. I see a comment. My daughter is 3 and we are about to schedule her first IEP meeting. Any additional tips for a very first meeting that might be different? All right, that's a great question, Carrie. So, if you're in Louisiana, I know you're moving from. So is she already 3? Because typically when they turn 3, they move from early steps, which is the babies and toddlers, to the school system, and the IEP should be written, their first IEP. It will no longer be an IFSP, which is individualized family support plan, to an IEP. So you said yes, she's already 3. I'll message you. We might chat. It's not very different from this. In the very first IEP, when they're 3, you're going to be discussing more goals, along with like the special education instructor that might come to your home, or a daycare, any therapies that she might have. But it should be good. Those are really well done, and you shouldn't have too many issues. Let me find, there was another question. What is best, the 504 plan or IEP? Yvette, great question. So those are 2 different things. I think we posted an image a few days ago that explains the difference between a 504 plan and an IEP. And 504 plan, it addresses students with a diagnosis where they would only need accommodations. They don't need an individualized education plan, or the curriculum doesn't need to change. And 504 plans, there's many more 504 plans than there are IEPs usually. IEP is considered special education, while 504 plan is considered regular ed. And the school, the SBLC team here in Louisiana, School Building Level Committee, they will determine the route that the student would take. If they feel a 504 plan is best, they'll do that, or they would do further testing for special education to see if that student qualifies for one of the qualifying exceptionalities. So I hope that answers your question. If not, message us and we'll talk more about it. But I can't say which one's best because it all depends on the child. Very specific. So that's my 10 tips, and we will list them out. But if you click the link, you will be able to receive the IEP parent concerns that you need to take to your IEP meeting. And you will also receive this little handy dandy IEP checklist. And so it talks about what you need to do before the meeting, what you need to do during the meeting, and then after. And I mentioned on here something different. File your new IEP after the meeting in your IEP binder or your file box. I discussed that last summer. And if you would like a link of that, the template that we used for the IEP binder and stuff, just let us know and we will get that to you. But follow the link in the comments. I believe Odessa put it up to receive these templates. You need to use them every year. Use them as much as you want. And if you have any more questions regarding tips on surviving an IEP or thriving at an IEP, IEP binder template link. Hey Mike, one of my partners in policy making friends, we will get a link for that. Yes, it's coming. So give us a little bit, Mike. Let us know. Reach out to us. We love to help our families, and just remember that this IEP team, it's not the school against the parent at all. That's the last thing that we want. We want to work together because everybody brings something different to the table that will benefit that child, and ultimately that's who we're here for. We're not here for the parent or the administrators or the teachers or the therapists. It's about that individual child that we want to succeed through this IEP plan. Alrighty, I hope this helped. I hope you have great success and great IEPs this year or the remainder of the year. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We're here to help. And go to that link to get the template of the IEP concerns list and the IEP meeting checklist. And y'all have a great day. Thank y'all. Bye guys.